In this lecture, we're going to see how you can build custom dialogues that look decent enough to be used on mobile devices. This time, we're going to do something a little bit different than we've been doing all along. I want you to come to the Welcome tab here in Qt Creator. I want you to come here in the Search tab and type in Gallery. And you're going to have a few example applications in here. I want you to click on this one, the greenish one. We're going to run it and see what we can learn from it. Okay, you are going to see it opened here. I want you to close this window here, and you're going to see a configure project message here. It is basically wanting you to configure the kit for this project here, because we can click on it and directly run it in Qt Creator. I am going to choose the desktop kit, but I do recommend to run this on a mobile device because it really looks good there. Now that I have my kit selected, I'm going to configure project. And it's going to configure stuff. You see that we had a few errors and now they've gone away because Qt has done the configuration for us. You're going to see a new project opened here on the left. It's called Gallery. If you go in, you're going to find the sources. If you go down here, you see the resources. This is where we have our QML files, but I don't know why Qt Creator is not showing the contents of the QML files. But no worries, we can actually click on the Gallery CPP file here, show in Explorer. We're going to open where it is located, and we're going to see a folder called Pages here, which contains different pages that we can show. I want you to run this application. And you see that we have an application like this. It is a good one. Okay, you see that if you click on this thing, you see a drawer come up here, and they have a bunch of buttons that you can click to do different things. For example, we can show the group box here. They basically showcase different Qt Quick controls that you can use in here. We have seen a lot of these things, if not all, but what I want you to see now is the dialogue, because they have pretty good dialogues that we can learn from. Click on dialogue here, and they have a few things that you can try. Click on message here. It shows a dialogue with a message. This is pretty good for mobile devices. Click on confirmation here. You have a dialogue. It has a title. It has a message, and you can let the user check some boxes like this, and you can accept or reject the dialogue. We have content dialogue that you can use to show some content and let the user scroll. The user can close this when they are done with it. And we have another one that can collect user input. I think these dialogues look very good, and we're going to try them in our application. But before we try them, we need to see the source code that is generating them. The way we see that, unfortunately, this is not opening up in Qt Creator, but we can go there ourselves and find these things. Click on Gallery CPP here, show in Explorer. Go in Pages inside here, and you're going to see a file called dialog page. I want you to open it with an editor of your choice. You can actually open it with Qt Creator, I guess. You can choose an application that you want to open it with. I choose Qt Creator here, and it's going to open here. What we want to see is how these buttons are generated. You see we have a label here that says dialogue, blah, blah, blah. We have a button here, and this generates our dialogue. Okay, when you click, you open this dialogue here. So what we can do is copy these things and adapt them to be run in our own application. So I am going to keep this dialogue page open here, keep it open. I can close Gallery here because we don't need it anymore, and create a new project. It's going to be a Qt Quick application. We're going to call it Custom Dialog Demo, save it in a location on our drive, hit next. The usual thing really, choose the Qt version, choose the desktop kit, and finish. Okay, we have our project here. We want to say Custom Dialog Demo. We also want to do our imports. We want to import Qt Quick controls and Qt Quick layouts because we're going to use those as well. We want to put in a column component. The spacing is going to be 40 and it's going to be the same width as its parent. So we're going to say parent width here. What we want to do is to go to dialog page here and copy these two components, this label here and this button here. We select, copy this, come back in main QML and put them here. This is a column component, so things are going to be laid out from top to bottom. We're going to see this label here and this button. And when we click this button, this dialog is going to pop up. One thing you see is that we have a property that is not defined. This button width property is not defined. And if we run without having it defined, we're going to run into problems. So we can come to the top here and say property and say button width. Is it called like that, button width? I think it is true. And we want to make this 300. Another thing you might do to improve security, you can make this read only in Qt. I think you can do that. You can make it read only. You can do that. Okay, we have our thing here. So we have our label. I don't think there's much to say about the label. You already know how to work with it. But the button here, it has a text that is going to be shown in. It's going to be this width. And when it's clicked, we're going to open this dialog here that we define. And it has an ID. Okay, so look at the position we gave it here. We really want to center it in the parent. The dialog has also a title and it has a label inside. Let's run the application and see what it looks like now. Okay, you see we have this thing here. If we click here, you have your message here. This is very easy to do. And we just learned this from a Qt example. The next button is going to be a confirmation button. We want to capture it and copy it. We go to main QML, which is here. Go below the button that we had for message and paste in the confirmation button. Okay, it has a width as well. We have this dialog that we open and we have a few properties for this dialog here. We can run it. Click on confirmation and you see the title here. They say a text here and we have a checkbox in here. Down below we have two buttons, yes and no. If you click yes, it's going to accept. If you click no, it's going to reject. Let's see what we have in here. This is how you specify the buttons. Okay, you say standard buttons and you pass in these values here. We want to have a yes button and a no button. This is how you specify the content inside the dialog. We have this label here, we have this checkbox here, and the buttons are going to be below all these components that you specify in here. And the dialog is also going to be centered in the parent. We want to go to dialog page again and look at the next piece of content we have. So we want to copy this button here, come back to main QML, go below this button here, paste it in. Okay, this is a pretty long one. We give it a close button like this. It is a model dialog. Inside we have a clickable component because we want to be able to scroll to see all the content inside the dialog. Notice that we specified the content height property here. This is because we might have more content to display than our window could possibly display. So we're going to have to scroll through the content to be able to see everything in there. So we have a flickable that is going to allow us to flip through the contents. Inside we have a column component that contains an image and a label with some text. So we need to provide this image here. And the way I'm going to do that, I'm going to add it as a resource file. So I'm going to select the project here and say add new. It's going to be a Qt resource file. I'm going to say resource here. I'm going to add the prefix and take it out because I want to not use a prefix. And I want to go where my main QML file is stored. We've been doing this quite a lot. And I want to add in an images folder. I am going to open this folder here and put in my logo here that I had prepared. It is called Learn Qt Logo. So I'm going to come back to our project and select add files, go in images, and I'm going to find my logo in there. I'm going to save this, come back to main QML, not main CPP. And here I'm going to say images, learn Qt logo.png. Let's run this so that you see what it is. Okay, we have content here. And if we run, you see that the button is not displayed correctly. Why is that? Let's look at this error here, 92, and it says page here is not defined. We should change this to parent because we don't have the page component defined. And we want to display this dialog here in relation to its parent, which is the button here. Let's run again. Click this, and you see that we have our content here. Okay, you can scroll to see things. We can close, open it again. This is the behavior you have. And I think this dialog is usable on mobile devices. It looks pretty decent. So we want to go back to the dialog page QML file and copy the last button that we have in there. That's the one we're going to look at right now. And it is a dialog that you can use to collect data from the user. We go down here, paste it inside, look, and see if we have no boo-boos inside. We can't really say this, can we? We're going to have to run it to see if it works. And let QML catch the errors for us. Okay, it looks like this. It has a title input, and you can type in stuff, okay? John Doe, for example. And you can navigate through the tab key. This is pretty decent. And if you look at how it's made, it's no different than what we have seen before. We have a button, we have a dialog inside, it is centered in the parent, it has focus, it has a title, we have a bunch of buttons that we can show in it, and we have a layout that contains things we want to see. Okay, this is a layout of our own input fields. We have a label and we have a text field for the username and the text field for the password. It really is nothing fancy, but it is very usable on mobile devices, and I thought it was a good idea to show you these things. I didn't want to type all these things. I could have done that, but I wanted you to have the information that you can go to the examples here and find some useful things you can even learn from, and learn things that I didn't even have a chance to tell you about in this course. Okay, this is really all I had to say in this lecture. I hope you know how to display good looking and useful dialogues that you can use on mobile devices. And in the next lecture, we're going to look at the interesting subject of model view architecture using Qt Quick. I'll see you there.